At Bear's Den. This is a hostel run by the Appalachia Trail Club. We're going to start here today and go south to Morgan Hills Road, where we'll be picked up and going into Chester's Gap to a hostel. Here's our trail. We've been going downhill for a little bit. There are rocks, but there's enough room between them that you can step between. We can hear the freeway or the highway, so we're kind of paralleling it, but you can't see it right here. Wow. No, right there. I just came right through. Now the reason we waded across the creek is because at our age, our balance isn't so great, and we really didn't want to go across that. It's rained, so the logs there were wet and they were kind of slippery, so we decided we would just wade across. To cross, where to cross. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Finally arrived at Morgan Hill Road, waiting for our pickup person, Mike Evans from Terrapin Station Hostel. We're taking a break here. We did it in record time now. As hard as up and down, the humidity was very hard to get used to, but we made it. There was plenty of water, so it's a good section. It's the northern section of the what's called the roller coaster. Okay, I'm in Front Royal. We're taking the day off town, and the first stop today is Dunkin' Donuts. We do not have Dunkin' Donuts in Oregon, so this is a big treat. Look at those babies. Yum. So we're going to pig out on the donuts today. This is a little park we found across from Dunkin' Donuts, and we're gonna sit down there in the little gazebo and eat our donuts, drink our coffee and tea, and prowl around the city today. There's a little bridge, takes you over the little creek here onto what's called Main Street. The side we were on at Dunkin' Donuts is more like a 4-lane thoroughfare. This is Saturday, I think it's the 9th, and we're leaving. It's 9 in the morning, kind of leisurely, and we are hiking up on the Chester Gap Trail, which is a very nice trail. It goes about half a mile up a hill, and then we'll hit the AT in Shenandoah Park and head north. It's, as you can see, a little foggy. It's supposed to get muggy, and up in the 80s today, and we've got Tropical Storm Anna. We're moving up the coast, so tomorrow we may get rain and maybe winds. We're entering Shenandoah National Park, but we're only going a short distance and we'll be out of the park. Tomorrow we will be dropped off south of this spot and then hike back to here. So we're kind of flip-flopping through the park. We've left the nice smooth trail. This is our first view of the mountains, and then the trail then will take us through these woods and a little bit rocky. Okay, we've reached the Tom Floyd Wayside, and it's got a nice porch, and it looks like it sleeps about 8. There's a privy and a water source, and it's not very far off the trail, but in a nice setting in the woods. And there's also tent sites here. These are some real pretty orange mushrooms growing out of the tree. Okay, lining the trail, you can see the poison ivy, and it's growing up everywhere. On this bench here with a bear, we're going to have lunch, and behind this bench is a fence, and it has barbed wire on it, and then off in the distance is a whole group of buildings, and they all have matching red metal or tile roofs, and we don't know exactly what it is. And then you can hear that noise. There's a house really close, and they're working on their cars. But anyway, we're gonna have lunch here, and it's really nice, a little hazy, but nice. Okay, I just found out what this property is in those buildings. It's part of the Smithsonian Zoological Preserve. So this is all behind the fence Smithsonian, with probably some pretty rare animals somewhere out there. Coming down a hill, and we're going to go across this bridge. It's getting real windy because we've got Tropical Storm Anna, whatever it is. I'm getting close to the mainland, and according to my husband, it's only moving 5 miles an hour, which means we might get a lot of rain. So here is this bridge, and then we're going to come to a highway. And we're crossing over like a little marshy area. Smithsonian Preserve. I got a big gate, so we're going to be walking alongside it for a little bit. There's some more of the buildings. We're at the Jim and Molly Denton shelter. You can see here they got the sleeping platform, and they got a nice porch with Adirondack style chairs to sit in. This is the bear pole where you hang your packs or your food sacks up here at night to keep them away from the critters. And here is the piece de resistance. We have a solar shower. And you know, after a day like today, it's real muggy, hot. It'd be wonderful to stand under there and cool off. We have finally made it to Virginia Highway 6:38, and we will be picked up and shuttled back to the Terrapin Station Hostel. Here we are. We are entering Shenandoah National Park, and we will be going south and then hiking back to the hostel today. And it is Sunday, Mother's Day. Okay, today's Mother's Day, and we're in Shenandoah National Park, and we're going to be hiking a little bit through the park today. We're in the clouds, but the sun just came out as I'm filming. Okay, this is some dung, and that black beetle just burrowed right into the inside of it. Must be tasty. There he is. Oops, there he is. Come out the other side. Here's a view through the trees of the Shenandoah Valley. Zoom in a little bit so maybe you can see more. It's a huge, beautiful valley. It's kind of hard to see through the trees. There's a few little clouds that we were in the clouds like a mist, but that's gone away in blue sky, and it's supposed to get up to like 88 degrees today and humid. Lucky us. Since today is Mother's Day, I thought this little group of fungi or whatever kind of looks like a nice ice cream sundae. And if it was for real ice cream sundae, I would be eating it. Here we're at a viewpoint in the park, looking out over the Shenandoah Valley. There's some beautiful clouds up there. We've got that storm named Anna pushing on, but it's beautiful today. We've just come off some little mountain, and we're now in Compton Gap in the Shenandoah State Park. This is Skyline Drive that goes through the park, and the Appalachia Trail will cross this highway here numerous times going through the park. In the park, instead of having the wooden signs that most people are accustomed to, they have these cement pillars with the AT symbol on them. And then on this metal strip, they have the directions and where to go and how far. So we're going to turn off here and go to Chester Gap and the hostel. It's Monday the 11th. We're starting out. We're going to go from Trico Tower down to Highway 55, and this area is supposed to be covered in wildflowers this time of year, so it ought to be a beautiful hike. Here's a variegated trillium. This is a May apple, and the flower is underneath these great big leaves. Wild drops, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the flower. We ran into some people looking at the wildflowers that are out, and we're informed on these trilliums. As you can see back in this group, there's some light ones and especially one dark one, and they start out white. Then they change to light pink, and then they change to a dark pink. It's almost a maroon color, so it's quite dark. And so that's why we're seeing different colors of the trillium. Here is one of the May apples, and right next to it is a trillium that's just starting to turn pink, but you can see how big the leaves are on the May apple as compared to trillium. Here are another type of flower. I'll have to look it up and see what it is later. These are wild geraniums. Here is some star chickweed and purplish blue violet. This is a yellow violet. Here's some star chickweed and some trillium and something else and a couple of blue violets. Trillium as far as the eye can see. Here we are at the Manassas Gap shelter. We're going to have lunch here. There's a picnic table. There's a privy that I'd only use if you really absolutely had to. The inside of the shelter, it's your typical three-sided shelter. The only different thing is it has a gutter on the top. I think that's a little catbird on the trail down there. They can mimic sounds from other birds. I don't know if you can see it, there's a toad. We've seen some dead toads, but this is a little toad or frog. Could be a frog, I guess. Hopped across the trail. There he is. Hi, guy. Yeah. But he's really tiny, and as you can see, can camouflage right in with the leaves. I'm sitting on a bench, almost done for the day. We've made good time because it was mostly downhill or flat. Nice trail, a little bit rocky in places, and nice view here. The clouds have just been teasing us with rain, which I wouldn't mind having right now. But it is a nice day. Last night it was in the 70s. We're up in the 80s again today. Hopefully the night will be 70 or a little bit cooler, but it's been a great day today. Here's another guy we saw. The one before had stripes and looked like a frog. This one I would say might be a toad. He's got a lot of little bumps on him. There we go. There he is. I have to look up when I'm done with the trail and find out what kind he is. We just ended today at Tucker Lane. It's a beautiful piece of property here. You've got your fence, beautiful pastures. I'll show you the house. You've got this beautiful big old barn. Their house has got stones like stream stones, field stones, whatever you call them, and a deck. Just gorgeous. I want to move here. Better yet, I'd like to just move the house and the property to Oregon. Here's a little bridge we just came over to end our hike. We'll be picked up and taken back to the hostel. Has this nice stream. Take your boots off, take your socks off, and cool down the feet. Feels so good. May 12th, it's 7:30 in the morning. This will be our last day on the trail. We're going from Ashby Gap to Morgan Hill Road. What we'll be doing is finishing the southern half of the roller coaster, which will mean several steep ups and downs, but we're starting earlier, hoping to beat the humidity. Pretty easy going so far, but we have about another mile and we'll start the steep up and downs of the southern end of the roller coaster. But it's been cool in here, but the humidity is thick. We're at the Rod Hollow shelter. It was built in 1985. This shelter has 2 layers you can sleep on. You got the lower level, and they got the upper sleeping loft. And they've got the fire pit and a covered area for eating, so you don't have to eat inside the actual shelter. We're going through a little boggy area, so they put down these planks so you don't have to walk through the mud and disturb the vegetation. Get you up out of the muck. Here we are. We're about to start the roller coaster, 13.5 miles of ups and downs. Oop. We ran across this tree and it's got these real lacy-like flowers on them, and it smells really good. And then the tree is kind of thin, and I don't know, I'm gonna have to look this one up too. But the flowers are just so pretty, and the smell is really, really nice. These are some interesting plants. They have tiny white flowers, and they go on down, and they have a white tuberous root. And we're finding them pulled up and laying in the middle of the trail. And there's been a lot of them, and it doesn't seem like they've eaten the tops. Doesn't seem like anything's eaten the roots. Nothing's eaten the leaves, so we don't know what they are, and we don't know why they're being torn up, but maybe somebody knows. Here's the little like flower. Okay, here's a pulled up one. It's got the top, got all the leaves, got the roots. So it's a mystery to me.